Malaysia Belay. Hello everyone, my name is Guillaume de Fondaumière. I'm the co-CEO and executive producer of Detroit Become Human, and yeah, I hope you'll enjoy what you're going to see next on Detroit Become Human, which releases May 25th. So Detroit Become Human is a dark thriller that is taking place in the near future, at a moment where human-like androids are really commonplace. And so you're going to play as 3 of these androids and see the story from 3 different perspectives. And pretty much all your decisions, all your choices will have a dramatic consequence on the story. So it's a very, very branching game. So you have 3 main playable characters that you're going to embody, and you're going to control their fate. But there are more than 300 characters in the game, so you're going to interact and meet with a great number of other android characters, but also human characters. So while you're going to follow the story from these 3 different perspectives as androids, you're also going to see the effect of this android revolution on the humans. So androids have been manufactured and engineered so as to move, speak, and behave like human beings. But of course, to make a difference between humans and androids, the governments of all countries have established some rules and regulations about the androids. So to start with, they need to wear distinctive marks, the triangle, the lead, the armband, so that you can instantly recognize them as androids. There are certain limitations. They cannot go into public transport in the same carriage as human beings, so there are special carriages for them. From time to time, they need to recharge their energy, and so there are basically android parkings everywhere where you can put them to rest, to recharge, but also they cannot enter certain restaurants, certain shops. So this is basically where you park them when you do something on your own. There are really millions of androids, and they're very, very different models. Some have been created, programmed, equipped to do works on the streets, to take care of your children, of your garden, to work in public administration, transportation. So there are a great number of models, and a lot of these models are also sold in shops. So you can enter, for instance, CyberLife, which is the largest Android manufacturing company, CyberLife shops, and there you can buy the model of your choice. So there are some very sophisticated androids, some who are more or less intelligent, and some who are really crafted for very specific tasks, for instance, military. There are some you know, it's like for cars, you know, you have the entry grade type model that is going to be relatively cheap. There are second-hand androids that you bought for a lot of pre-owned, exactly, that you bought for a lot of money, and then just, you know, you want to change it, and so you give it away, you sell it back, and etc. etc. So there are really androids for almost everyone in society. From the cheapest, the most regular models to the very high-end models. Kara, for instance, is a pretty regular model. So there are a lot of Karas in society, taking care of your children, of your home. And then there are more sophisticated models, like Markus, very intelligent, speaks different languages, and who are basically designed to serve as assistants or and then you have prototypes. Connor is a prototype. So these are machines that are very advanced, probably cost a lot of money, but you can't even buy them because they're just being designed to accomplish certain very specific tasks. So there's really a whole range of these androids, and you're going to meet, not all of them, but a great many of different models and types. Well, to start with, I don't think that the story of Detroit is something that has been done before. I think while the main topic, you know, androids that are becoming sentient, has been dealt with in the past, and movies and books, etc. I think we're coming here with a relatively original story.
But that's on the other side of town.
And I
need a place for
find
tonight.
interesting is that, for instance, in Playtime, we're going to follow the deviant hunter. But you're not going to really see the impact of this Android revolution on humankind. You know, you follow the hunter and you follow these androids that are becoming deviant, but you don't get to understand the whole picture around this Android revolution. Whereas in Detroit, really, we have 20, 30 hours to make you delve into this world and make you understand all the intricate consequences of this world in the future that is coming, and that will see the birth of maybe a new kind of humanity. And this is, I think, something pretty original. The other thing that we're offering with Detroit is choice. We give you the possibility to decide where this story, where this evolution is leading. So what's happening? We have androids that become intelligent, that become emotional, but what will you do, and what consequences your choices as an individual is going to have, not only on these three characters, but everyone around them and society at large. So we're giving you choice. We're asking questions, moral questions. This Android revolution comes as you can see it as a positive evolution in mankind, because humans no longer have to do repetitive works anymore. But on the other hand, these androids is going to generate a lot of unemployment. A lot of people are going to be very dependent on androids. So you will have, the game poses a certain amount of questions, moral, ethical questions. And we're giving you, the player, the possibility to answer these questions for yourself and see what the consequences are of the logical actions that you're going to take in the game. There is a lot of tension in this society. So in the very first scene of the game, when Connor enters into play, the mother is absolutely shocked that police are sending an android to negotiate with another android. She was expecting a human being to be sent to negotiate, but no, they're sending an android. The SWAT leader, Captain Allen, is also not very happy that an android is coming here.
Your owner do that?
So he sees that as an interference in his work, and you're going to see these tensions throughout society. You're going to meet a lot of human characters who are very bitter about this evolution. But on the other hand, you're also going to meet characters who care for androids, who understand, their use in society, what they bring to humans, and then when events are going to evolve and some androids are starting to show emotion, you will find certain humans who, again, are going to be to feel empathy for these characters. But on the other hand, you're also going to find humans who find this extremely dangerous and will want to fight it. And that's what's interesting, I think, about Detroit, is that we're showing these two aspects. And again, we're asking you, the player, what will you do? How will you react to this evolution? So a first playthrough from start to finish, without looking back, without replaying anything, is going to take you about 10 to 12 hours. That very much depends on the player, of course. Some are going to be more curious because this is a lot to see in any given scene. If you want to complete the entire game, you will need approximately 25 to 30 hours to see all the possible variations, and there's a huge rainbow of possibilities in the game. So there's a lot to replay, and it's not really replay because you really have the possibility to delve into different sequences and then just change one choice and see the consequences of it. So there's a lot of replay value in the game. No, there is no true ending for us, and I would say for me. What I like about this experience is that it really shows you that, like in life, nothing's white, or black. You know, there's nothing good and nothing wrong that you can do in this story. Of course, your actions are going to have sometimes dramatic consequences. But what I like about this concept is really to be in control and to see the consequences of your actions and to see what possibilities there are. I think to a certain degree it's going to be a game that is going to be relatively educational. Is okay, if I do that, what happens and what are the consequences? And we've tried to make it as logical as possible so that every playthrough feels like a natural evolution for the player and really becomes the expression of what the player thinks and believes in. But yet again, I think it's interesting, even if you completed your journey and came to the end that you are expecting, I think it's interesting to go back and try something else and then see maybe, you know, the other perspective. It's like having a discussion with someone on a tough subject matter. And, you know, at the beginning, everyone is standing on his side of the fence and has strong arguments, but then through exchanging to a certain degree, you get to understand the other person's position and you shift a bit. I think Detroit is a game where you're going to come into the story with a predefined idea of how you would react in this situation. How would I react if tomorrow morning I can buy an Android and they're everywhere and they start to feel emotions? I would be for it, or no, I would be against it. And I think that through gameplay, you're probably going to evolve.
I know it's a hard question.
It's a difficult question because, you know, and it's one of the reasons why we decided to go with 3 different characters is because, like in real life, you know, you're not made of one make, one steel. You know, what I like about the story of Kara is that it's touching upon my emotional fiber. You know, with Connor there is this investigation, so it's CSI plus. So you know, this geek in me who likes technology is very much into, you know, analyzing, understanding how it works, etc. And with Markus, we are following the destiny of a character who's been someone who's lost a lot and then maybe is going to resurrect or reinvent himself and may or not, depending on player choice again, become the leader of the revolution. And each of them, with each of the characters, you're confronted to a question that I believe resonates in each of us. You know, how much am I prepared to go for love? That would be, you know, Kara's question. How far will I go to become free? That's Markus's question. And for Connor is, you know, how far should I go to be loyal? You know, if I see things, you know, I should be following the guidebook, or should I, you know, should I adapt, or should I say no? And this, I believe, is very interesting. So to make a long story short, my favorite character is Connor, Kara, Markus. At the end of each scene, so we're displaying this flow chart of the scene that basically is a tree branch of all the different possible choices and of course different endings to a scene. What you've played through is highlighted with screenshots, and so you see all the choices that you've made, and all the interrogation points are all the other possibilities that were in that particular scene. So in order to unlock these, you have to go back to a certain moment where you have to do this critical choice and then try something else. So the main writer of the story, of course, is David Cage, but we're working with a whole team of writers, game designers that work with him to make sure that the story is epic, emotional, but also that all the choices of the player have meaningful consequences in the story. So it's a huge work. There's a lot of brainstorming involved to make sure that everything is consistent throughout. You can easily imagine what tree branch structure this game has. You know, we're tracking with 1,000 story variations. So it's been also held in QA to test this game, to make sure that everything is consistent, that the choices are represented correctly in the flowchart, and what if you go back and play it again, what impacts it has.
Androids are not permitted beyond this point.
There's a whole team.
It's with me.
Psychologists, David talked and researched a lot. Psychology, research a lot, technology. And so
you don't talk, you don't touch anything, you stay out of my way. Got it?
Got it. Somehow
We were starting to think you weren't going to show.
Condensed
that was the plan until this
expression of everything that he's researched. And by the way, you may have not noticed
very funny. Just tell me what happened.
But the more you progress into the game, the more you'll see magazines with dealing with certain topics that we've researched. And so there's a lot to be read about this evolution, this technology, this impact on humankind, on the society. And there's a bonus section within the menu that you can access. And as you progress through the game, you're gaining points, and then you can exchange these points for artworks, trailers, but also soundtrack, but also gain access to more information of each of the characters that you're going to meet, and access to all the documentation that is expressed through the magazines. So I think we're more than 115 magazines with information. So you'll be able to see all this material that we basically used also to craft the story. I very much believe so. During our research, we found that today, researchers, scientists are capable of reproducing a human mouse brain. And so their expectation is that in about 20 years, we will be able to reproduce a human brain. There was one research I remember that we saw in 2015 where scientists were asked when they believed that there would be human-like androids that would be as intelligent, if not more intelligent than human beings, and possibly capable of feelings. 10% of these scientists said 2030, so back then it was 15 years. 50% said about 2040. So I don't know for sure, and I guess no one really knows for sure when this revolution is going to come. Is it going to be in 15, 20, 30 years? I don't know. What I presume, however, from everything I read, is that it's going to come, and probably in our lifetime. And I think that's what interests me in Detroit Become Human, is because we can ask ourselves questions now that are maybe going to be important in 15, 20, or 30 years. And I think that when you finish the game, you in the game, you're confronted with a lot of these moral, ethical questions we talked about before. And I think that it should motivate not only each of us, but also government, society at large, to start thinking about these questions and see what means we can put in place to make sure that this evolution or revolution is to the benefit of mankind and doesn't threaten it. So I think I think it's possibly one of the talking points when the game releases. Is what do we do today so that tomorrow this Android revolution is a positive evolution for mankind.
Hey guys, if you like our content, do like and follow our page. Also, select See First to get the latest game news and updates. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and select on the notify button to get notified to our latest gameplay trailers. Don't miss out!